with this session. The agenda for today's session, we are going to start with the following agenda. So today's session is going to be about the general introduction about what is DevOps and what are all the tools associated with this DevOps and what is the advantage of going for DevOps compared to that of this current technology. So these are all the things that is planned for today's session. Okay, so here the each and everywhere in IT industry, so each and every people start talking about the following things: cloud computing, big data, data analytics and machine learning plus machine learning. So these are all the buzzwords of today's IT industries. So here, in people you may have in terms of cloud, we have a public cloud and we have a private cloud. The most demanding public cloud is two clouds. One belonging to Amazon, that is AWS, Amazon Web Services. Another cloud service provided by Microsoft Azure. So out of the 10% of market share, 100% of market share, nearly 80% of market share is occupied by the AWS and Azure. Okay. So in terms of private cloud, similarly we have OpenStack private cloud. Okay, which forms, and also we have private cloud that can be built using Microsoft Azure also. So these are all the most widely used tools. So apart from this cloud computing, if we, in addition to that of cloud computing, if we possess the stuff of this DevOps, then it is one of the most valuable stuff and most demanding stuff in IT industry. So according to this IDC report, IDC report, so which was conducted by Gartner. So Gartner predicted around 2 crores of job opportunities need to be filled by the end of 2018 in cloud computing. Okay, out of these 2 crores of job opportunity across world, out of these 2 crores of job opportunities, so what they are predicting is only 50 lakhs of opportunities alone can be filled. The remaining 1.5 crores of opportunities is going to be lying vacant. Okay, why so? Because of lagging of skilled expertise. That is the thing currently published by Gartner. Almost 1.5 crores. Imagine how much of job opportunities that is existing in cloud computing. So in this job opportunity, if you possess the stuff of cloud and DevOps, it will add more value for your profile. That's the first thing that I want to make you convey. Then second, technology apart from that cloud is big data. So in terms of big data, we have a big data administration, a big data developer, and big data architect level. Okay, so this is the second stuff that provides a much more job opportunity. And along with this big data, so if we go for another technology called the data analytics with machine learning, we call this as a big data analyst role, big data analyst. This also provides a lot of job opportunities. So if we choose big data administration as administrator, here too this cloud computing will help us in a very more influence. If we possess a stuff on big data admin along with cloud computing also, it is one of the most value added. So the thing is that rather than going into with one technology, if you guys are possessing skills on multidiscipline and also related discipline, it will be more value added one. So here the thing that we are going to do in our curriculum is DevOps, and I also let you know some basics in our curriculum. I also let you know some basics if you doesn't know about cloud computing. Okay, the curriculum associated with our training, I think so you may have got the curriculum associated. So I am going through with this curriculum. So our curriculum deals with the following things. The model 1, the basics of DevOps. What is DevOps? Why DevOps? What are all the tools and techniques associated with the DevOps? What are all the skill sets a DevOps engineer need to possess? So the workflow, starting from coding up to the implementation in production, that is the workflow of DevOps. That is delivery pipelining, the tools and associated scripting languages associated with the DevOps ecosystems. These are all basic essentials and fundamentals of DevOps will be covered in module 1, and followed with the version controlling, that is for document storing and code storing. We go for Git and GitHub, one of the version control systems. Okay, one of the most demanding. Okay, I will forward you Divya. No issue. I will share you the course curriculum. Git and GitHub. So Git is a tool. GitHub is a repository where you can, it's a distributed global repository where you can store and where you can process your coding and documents associated. Okay, these are all version control. We start with Git and GitHub. And we have another tool called as Jenkins. It is one of the most widely used tool. Okay, so Jenkins is used for continuous integration. Okay, so we deal with setting up of Jenkins and how to build the delivery pipelines, how to get the data from, how to get these also coding from GitHub, and how to do this automated continuous integration. Everything that we will discuss. Then we have build and test automation. So okay, in Jenkins we also provide testing also. So how to use some test cases, sample test cases, how to make use of Jenkins to use those test cases to check whether the coding that is compiled is working fine according to what purpose that it is meant for. Okay, so that is the model 4. And we have a build a system called Maven. Okay, so once the code has been written, you need to compile the code and you need to build the machine code. So for that we go for Maven. Okay, we will be dealing with all the things associated with the Maven. And so the flow is we start with fundamentals and followed with Git and GitHub, and we will be dealing with this Maven, and followed with the Maven, we deal with how to compile the source code, how to build the target machine language code, okay, how to send notification, how to apply testing, everything that will be followed with Maven with the Jenkins, how to integrate using Jenkins, and followed with we deals with the Dockers, containers and virtualization. The module 6 and 7 deals with the Dockers, containers and virtualization, and the module 8 deals with this Nagios, which is a monitoring tool, and module 9 deals with the Ansible and Chef. Okay, so Ansible and Chef, these are all configuration management tools. Okay, so module 10 I didn't listed you. Module 10 will be dealing with some fundamentals of Amazon public cloud and Azure public cloud. Both the cloud has been included, how to launch an instance and how to get the storage from Amazon as well as Azure public cloud. I will share you the updated content. Okay, the tools that we will be dealing with is Git, GitHub, and followed with the Maven, and the Maven followed with some testing and automation using Maven, and we'll be using Jenkins for continuous integration, and for configuration management we go for Ansible and Chef, and for implementation we go for Dockers and containers, and for monitoring we go for Nagios, and for infrastructure we go for cloud. Module 10 deals with cloud. So this is the curriculum that we are going to deal with. Okay, so with this introduction, let me start today's session. Okay, so what is DevOps? DevOps stands for, so each and the latest buzzword of today's IT industry is DevOps. Okay, in terms of whether it is a software development or in terms of infrastructure administration, DevOps forms the buzzword. Okay, so what is DevOps? Dev stands for development, OPS stands for operation. Dev stands for development, OPS stands for operation. So each and every industry is looking for automation. So the automation is the first choice of any IT industry. Whether not only IT, whether it is a manufacturing industry or whether it is a marketing whether it is a portfolio, banking, everywhere. Automations are fastly replacing all the traditional way of processing. Here, if you do automation in IT, in both development and as well as infra side, and then we call this as a DevOps. DevOps it is not a technology. We can call it as a culture. DevOps is a culture which is followed by all IT industries in order to foster its development life cycle and also its infrastructure life cycle, the operation team also. Initially, we have a fostering of development, that is the automation with respect to starting from coding up to testing. It can be done by using a technology called as Agile technology. You people are aware of Agile. So initially we have in this development in a olden days a traditional way of developing is using this model called as waterfall model. You have different types of model, waterfall model, we have a prototype model, etc., etc. So these techniques which will involve in the following phases. The waterfall model, we need a phase one, the requirement gathering. Then the client want to be interacted for the requirement, what they are in need of. Then followed with we will be having a design. In terms of design, we have a database architecture design and UI design, user interface design need to be done. And after that, the team will be formed and we need to do this coding. Each and every team member will do the coding and we will be performing testing. The testing that is associated with members, each member is unit testing. And after performing unit testing, we'll be dealing with the integration of all the associated codings. And integration, once all the component of the code has been integrated, again, once again, we perform this system level testing, okay, application level testing. In this, we will be going for load testing, performance testing, etc. Okay. So after performing this testing, and then it will be implemented in the client place. This is the workflow associated with this the traditional model of waterfall model. So in this model, each and every phase will need a lot of work hours. Okay, so you can't do anything coding or development or any testing before going up with this designing on user interfaces. So to fasten, so if you want to take care of any project, then starting from day one up to this implementation, it took around 4 to 5 months of time duration to achieve each and every activity. By the time the project is ready, the software is ready, the industry may have a lot of changes that may be need to incorporate it within these 4 to 5 months. They may have added some new branches. They may have some added some new functionalities to this existing system. Therefore, the process that is adopted traditional waterfall model is not the best suited one. So to overcome these sort of things, the automation associated with the development side, we go for the agile technology. Agile technology provides a lot and lot of good thing, but it focuses only on the development perspective only. It didn't bring any attention. It didn't focus any attention on the infrastructure side. So as a result, the development activity might have been fastened, but all the infrastructure related thing. Infrastructure in sense, we need to set up the servers. We need to set up the servers. For the servers may be application servers. We need to set up database servers. Okay. So these are all the main servers. So front end and the applications may be running on. You may need to set up web servers or user interfaces. So if it is a two-tier architecture, you have this application server and a web server, both running on the same machine, and you need to configure a backup server, database server. So here, the user may have interaction with this the machine, and the data will be stored on the backend. Similarly, if it is a three-tier architecture, you have web server, and you have application server, and you have database server. These are all the various ways by which you need to set the infrastructure accordingly. So, to setting up this server, here in terms of infrastructure has been concerned, not only servers, you need to go up with the setting up this networking and internet working. All these things comes under the infra. networking, we need to set up networking if we have multiple servers. If the servers need to be integrated with internet, we need to associate with routers and switches, L3 switches. And for application database and user interfaces, we need to set up opposite servers. All the activity, once the software has been developed, those software need to be implemented in this infrastructure. This thing will be taken care by a separate team. We call this team as infrastructure team and this team as a development team. Okay. So these are all this agile technology is mainly focuses on its attention towards improving this development activity, but it doesn't focus its attention towards the infrastructure activity. And as a result, the development activity may be fastened, but the infrastructure being it is followed under traditional man, so it doesn't provide us a, a quick response according to what developers is in need of. Okay, so in terms of infra, if we also want to follow the agile methodology, which is followed by development, we need to go for this DevOps. The DevOps will provide us this agile way of processing for both development as well as infrastructure also. Okay, here the once the software has been developed, the developed software is delivered to the client at the moment it is developed. If you adopt this DevOps technology, if not, if you adopt agile technology, it took the development time will be very less and efficient, but the implementation of the software in the client, it took lot of time. If you go for this traditional way of waterfall model, it took for both development and for infrastructure and lot of time. So now, to be in a concise manner, DevOps is an agile way of providing development as well as the operation. Both the thing is a combination. Okay, this is the main concept going for this DevOps. Okay, so here the main problem associated with this development team and operation team is, so each and every team will be separate team initially. So we have a separate development team and we have a separate operation team. Okay, they may have erected a wall between themselves. What are all the activity that is taking place is development is unaware to the operation team. What are all the activity that this operation team is performing is unaware to the development team. That is the way by which the developers and operation team is working. There is a huge wall which separate this development team and the operation team. So they may use this agile and they may develop the software in a quick manner. But while you go for implementation, okay, the code is developed, the associated software may be developed faster. While if you want to go for this implementation, so you need to depend upon this operation team. Being the operation team is following the traditional way of monitoring, fixing, production environment error. Okay, it took a lot of time and they struggle a lot when you go for implementation. To overcome all those things, the developer and operation working together, we go for this DevOps. In this DevOps, we follow the agile not only for developer, also we replaces the similar way of agile technology for your infra also. Okay, so the development team and the operation team can override the tussles among themselves. So the developer may say, so we have developed the software in a correct manner, but in implementation only it is a problem. If a client complaint any issues is that he couldn't able to access any particular module or any particular services, what the team will do? So I'm good in my code. The problem is associated with operation, whereas the operation team will in turn pinpoint each and everyone. If they point to that the infrastructure is good, we did all the things, we have configured all the services and associated things, but there is a bug in development. Also because these two people so work in isolation. The development team doesn't interact with this operation team. The operation team doesn't interact with the development team. Okay, so because of this isolation, there each and every day there is a tussle among themselves, and disagreement, and they point a finger at each other. Okay, so developer think that his responsibility is develop the code alone. Once the code is developed, the code will be given to operation team. The operation team thinks that their responsibility is to deploy the code. Apart from that, they no need to go for any other thing. So at the end, any problem, whether it is on the development side or an operation team, will affect the client, and everyone will be got affected. Okay, so once it is a problem, both will blame each other. Okay, they won't bother about the client. Each and everyone is blaming about and pointing fingers on each another side. To overcome this sort of thing, we go for the this DevOps. Here it involves the developer also involved in the operation activity. The operation team also involved in the development activity. Okay, so each and every person will be working code together. So in this sense, the complete control from application development up to implementation life cycle will be taken care by concurrently by both the team. The development and operation team work together. So here it is more responsibility. The developer can't able to comply. So the issues is to operation. Operation team can't able to comply. The issues is due to development. Also because so both the team will be involved in almost all the activity. What are all the activity that is involved in terms of development? We need to first go for this coding, and the coding need to be built, and we need to apply. So tests, these are all the things that is involved in DevOps. Okay, you need to so DevOps involves continuous development. Yeah, continuous first we need to go for planning. Okay, what the client is in it. This is the requirement gathering phase. Okay, we need to go for a plan. What the client is in need of. According to the client need, what the database design that we need to go for. What are all the user interface design that we need to go for, and what are all the infrastructure that is associated. For example, the client is going to work with a database is in a size of a terabyte, and the database is growing with each day 10 GB of data. If that is the case, so you need to follow a distributed database. So in this distributed database, there are several databases, MongoDB, Cassandra. So we go for MongoDB. And what should be the database design, how it need to be distributed, like those things need to be. Then if it is MongoDB, and if the size is the database current size is 10 TB, and each and every day if it is growing by 10 TB, what is the infrastructure, what is the server configuration that we need to go for. So now what are all the tools that we need to go for, everything will be discussed under the plan. Under this planning, both the team will be involved. Development team as well as infra team will be involved. And followed with, we go for a coding phase. So the coding will be done, and once the task is split across several people. For example, if you want to build a game, it involves several level 1, level 2, level 3. Example, imagine there are 5 levels. So each and every level will be coded by a separate person. Level 1 is coded by Raman. Level 2 is coded by Shanmugam. So level 3 is coded by Abhi. Level 4 is coded by some other person, Mala. Okay. So each and every person will code the particular level, and after that, so the coding has been over. So the coding will be built. Each and every person will build the code. It will compile the code. Okay, it will check for others. And then if the code is working perfect, then if we perform a unit test. Okay, concurrently we can do. Each and every activity can be do concurrently. So all the people can build the code, and they can compile the code. They can apply some sample test cases for performing unit testing. Once everything is perfect, what they can do, they can do this integration of all the level 1, level 2, level 3, and level 4 has been integrated into a single entity. Once it is integrated, once again we will apply some testing, and if it is perfect, then it need to be applied to the deployment. We need to deploy. So the activity of getting this code, building the code, performing testing, and integrating all the things can be done by using this Chef, Ansible. Okay, so here the planning can be done by using certain tools like Mercurial. So we can manage this code using certain tools. Coding is in the code written by Raman need to be managed. If there is a change in the coding, it need to be managed. The backup copy along with this current code need to be managed by this guy. For that, we need to go for Git and GitHub. So the code management, and then the for building, we need to go for this Maven. So for example, if you have written a Java program, okay, the Java program need to be compiled. So then we once it is compiled, it will check for syntax and semantics error. If everything is perfect, it will generate a bytecode. Okay. So for doing this activity, for in this case, I have taken as example as Java. We go for building tools like Maven. We go for tools like Maven and etc. etc. There are a lot and lot of tools are there, and the whether the code is working properly or not, you want to go for checking. For example, so if you specify that here, let me take a small example. Let me specify the employee number field as a primary key. What test case that we need to apply? So it should not allow a duplicate value. Already entered value need not be permitted. It should not permit a null value. These are all the test cases. Okay, these are all the conditions. Then we will take the data. We will insert data. In test case, we will take data 1 comma RAM and we will insert. It will insert. If we once again associated the 2 comma Arun, so it will work. But if we specify 3 comma Raja, in this case, being the value of employee number is specified as primary key, it should not allow duplicate. Like for each and every coding, there is a associated test cases. Okay, for each and everything, we need to go for these test cases. That thing will be done here. We go for several tools like Selenium and JUnit. If time permits, I will let you know with some testing. Okay. After testing, everything need to be integrated. For integration, we go for Ansible and Chef. Okay, and we need to go for this deployment. So for deployment, we go for this infrastructure. So the deployment instance, we have pre-production deployment and we have production deployment. So production deployment, we are dealing with this cloud. We will be getting infrastructure from cloud, and pre-production development, we can go for this Dockers and containers. Okay, for Dockers and containers, one of the most demanding technology. So compared to that of virtualization, our curriculum deals with Dockers and containers for pre-production, and for production deployment, that is deployed in deployment in the client side, we go for this cloud. Here we will be dealing with both AWS as well as Azure cloud. Okay. So and after deployment, it will be operated. The application which is deployed will be operated. So under operation, while the user is using the application, the user may provide some feedback. Okay, based upon the feedback, once again the cycle of changing the code, building the code, testing the code, integrating the code, deploying the code will be followed. So here we have another phase called as monitoring activity, which is used to monitor the application, which is used to monitor the workload coming for the application, which is used to monitor the services, whether everything is perfect. Okay, so these are all the sequence of activity which involves this DevOps. So we call DevOps as a which is a strategy which provides us the automation starting from the code development until the implementation in production. So to be a single point of view, we call it is a automation process which takes the complete control from application development down to the application implementation. The entire life cycle of the software development life cycle, everything if it is automated, starting from plan up to this operation under the control of DevOps. Okay. So these are all some of the basic terminologies associated with the DevOps. Okay. So These are all the tools that we are dealing with. Okay, so DevOps means it's a software development approach which involves continuous development, continuous testing, continuous integration, and continuous deployment and continuous monitoring of the software throughout its development cycle. You no need to wait for any activity. All the activity will be done continuously. So as we already discussed, initially we have traditional waterfall model. So the model is best suited if we have a complete requirements, what we are in need of are clear and fixed. There is no further thing that we are going to do while development. So the development activity and the modules need to be developed is a fixed instance. Then here we go for traditional waterfall model. This is the traditional way of, and after that, if the nowadays the each and every day the company's activity may be improving, they may have new branches, the functionality may have vary each and every day. They need to incorporate new functionalities, they need to alter existing functionalities. If that is the case, going forward with the waterfall model is not best suited. If the requirement of the client changes frequently, and if they want each and everything to develop fast without waiting, we need to go for agile development. So agile development, as I already discussed, it focuses only on the development perspective. If you want to implement the agile methodology for both development and operation, we go for this DevOps approach. Development also need to be agile, the operations also need to be agile. Okay, this is the technology that is currently, we call this as a culture. This is the thing currently followed by IT industry. Okay, so these are all some of the basics associated with the evaluation from traditional model to agile. Okay, what they will do, they DevOps, they follow a technique called as a dark launching technique. For example, so instead of, for example, let me take any company XYZ, they may have a new feature. So these are all the new features. Okay, what they will do, these are all set of people. For example, let me take Facebook in this example. They have people, the web server associated with India, web server associated with US, web server associated with Europe. So if they develop a new feature, what they will do, at the moment they want to implement the new feature to all its customer bases. They will open a pipeline for one base. Let me take the web server, the new features associated with Facebook. So will be first published to India, and it will be continuously monitored. The new feature user will, it will get the feedback from the user by continuously monitoring the features. In case if there is any bug, if a user feels that this particular feature is not working under this environment, etc., etc., this will be traced, and it will be tested. The feature will be tested, and once it will receive the feedback, and the feedback will be inputted back to Facebook, and based upon the feedback, the Facebook may do changes. The feedback provided by user, it may be a bug fix, as that of here. It may be an enhancement. The user may feel if this feature, if it is working in such a manner, it may be good, so you please do the following change. That is, so it may be enhancement. Else, okay, it may be a bug with the existing feature. Anything, when it is continuously monitored and the feedback is got from this customer who is going to work with that particular model, then the team can do the needed modification on top of it, and once again it will applied on the same customer base. If everything is perfect, the customer is satisfied, then it will be integrated to the existing feature. Okay, it is the original Facebook, then the new feature alone is integrated to existing the Facebook, and everything will be implemented in all other markets. Okay, now it is tested with India, and if it is perfect, it will open the door for US, and it will open the door for Europe. This is the way by which we go for dark launching. In this case, if we adopt this DevOps life cycle of continuous development, continuous testing, continuous integration, continuous deployment, and continuous monitoring, the new feature, if it is not satisfied in terms of the user's requirement, or if it is get stuck with some bug, will be immediately addressed, and those issues will be solved, and everything, if it is perfect, it will open the door for all other customer base. These are all the ways by which by using DevOps we can able to add much more value to any particular software. Okay, so this technique we call it as the dark launching. So these techniques is adopted by the several companies along with this DevOps. Okay, this is the thing. The new feature are first deployed on a small and specific user base. They are continuously monitored, and the feedback from the community is based upon the. It will do the development and it will redefine the code, and it will be once again tested. Once each and everything is satisfied, then we say the features are stable. They are deployed on other user base based upon the multiple releases. So for this activity, we go for this DevOps. Okay, DevOps helps us a lot of perspective. So under this continuous development, continuous monitoring, etc., etc. So which tool that we will be using? We will be using the following tools. Okay, so we have started with the following tools. We go for tools like okay. So for, let me take this tool. So for code development, we go for tools called version controlling system. We call this as a VCS, version controlling system, or we call it as a SCM, software configuration management. We use this Git, we use GitHub, we use this Mercurial, etc., etc. There are lot and lot of tools. Here, these are all the most commonly we have. Apart from the tool called SVN, we have Perforce. We will be discussing about the differences. We have the tool that is most widely used is Git and GitHub. This is the tool associated with code development. And after that, the development of the code, we need to go for this continuous integration. For continuous integration, for combining and continuous integration, we go for the following tool. We make use of Maven for compiling the code and build the code. And we can make use of for integration. We can go for Jenkins. We can go for Ant, etc., etc. Here we are dealing with for code building and continuous integration, Maven and Jenkins. There are several tools. These are all the most popular tools. And for testing, to perform testing, we go for several tools, such as we go for JUnit, we go for tools like Selenium. Okay. So here we are not dealing with anything testing. Here we are going to provide the testing using this Maven itself. Okay. By using Maven, we are going to apply some test cases and we do testing. It is a separate entity. We are not giving much more attention for testing here. And apart from that, we have several tools, okay, for testing, continuous integration, continuous development. So for monitoring, once it is developed and integrated, we need to go for this configuration management. Configuration management. We go for Chef, we go for Puppet, we go for Ansible. Here we are dealing with Ansible also because which is one of the most widely needed thing for configuration management. We go for Ansible, and we will be dealing with some small things associated with Chef. We will be focusing more on Ansible and we will be dealing with Chef for configuration management. There are several tools. We are focusing upon the following tools only. And for apart from that, and for monitoring, we have several tools like Nagios, Sensu, etc. etc. Here we are dealing with Nagios, installing Nagios, on how to configure Nagios. Also, associated with the cloud, we are also going to discuss about a tool called a services called as CloudWatch, monitoring services. How to do monitoring using cloud. Okay, we are going to deal with the service AWS service called CloudWatch in terms of monitoring. And for and in terms of the operating system, we'll be dealing with some basic Linux operating system. So in this we can discuss Red Hat or Ubuntu. This is the operating system associated. And in terms of some scripting languages, we go for basic shell scripting. In all our tool, we can go for shell scripting, and if needed in certain case, we can go for scripting using Python. Okay, so these are all the associated things with respect to our discussions. Okay, so the main advantage of going for this develop DevOps. So two things. One, being it is automated, it saves time from development to implementation. But also, whenever it saves time, it needs less resources. Activity can be done within a short span of time with the minimum resources in sense. It also saves money. These are all the two things associated with the DevOps. Because of these two reasons, each and every organization now they are focusing their attention towards adopting this DevOps. Okay, so by adopting DevOps, any project can be developed and deployed in a very effective and in a very fast manner with very high customer satisfaction. So this is the small introduction about our course DevOps. And tomorrow we will be continuing with this. We are going to start with the first component called as Git. Okay, we will be starting with the Git and GitHub, how to write the source code and how to maintain the source code. All other associated things will be discussed. So if you have any doubt with respect to what we have discussed in today's session, please let me know. We have started with a small introduction. That's all. What is DevOps and what are all the ways by which DevOps differs from traditional, and what is the advantage of going for this DevOps compared to the. If you have any doubt before winding up today's session, if no, thanks for your trust with us. Thank you. We can meet again. Abhi, thank you. Divya, thank you. Sanmukham sir, thank you. Bye.